Yo, what's up, sports world? This is TSC, rapid fire segment, coming from Sports Coma. This is me, DC, and I got Big Q on the line, and we're going to go over these NBA free agency day 2 with y'all, man. Crazy happenings going on today. Oh, my God. I know you had to hear, but if you didn't, let me bring you up to speed. The most major signing we had all day, guess what, y'all? DeMarcus Cousins signed, y'all, yay! I know if everybody Pelicans happy, right? Nope. He went to the Warriors, y'all. The Warriors. For 1 year, $5.3 million.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of people here has just exploded. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to it. You know we're going to talk about it. But let me go over the other signings before we deal with that. Steph Curry signed a 2-year deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. Julius Randle signed a 2-year deal for $18 million with the New Orleans Pelicans. I guess he's going to try to replace DeMarcus Cousins. Rajon Rondo signed a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Man, the Pelicans must be here. Mike Scott agreed to a 1-year deal with the LA Clippers. Jose Calderon signed a 1-year deal for $2.4 million with the Detroit Pistons. J.J. Redick went back to the Philadelphia 76ers for $12 to $13 million range. That's kind of weird. For 1 year. Nerlens Noel went and joined the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anthony Tolliver signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Derek Favors stays with the Utah Jazz with a 2-year deal for $36 million. Whew. Man, I ain't hear nothing but Rondo and DeMarcus Cousins. I can't get over this, man. I know you got to be waiting to get your 2 cents in here. I'm going to let you go first, Big Q. What you got to say about this, man?
It's absolutely amazing, man. This is totally not the off season that I was anticipating that Dale Demps was going to do with the Pelicans. First of all, we were going to get one or the other, but most certainly not lose both of them. But the fact that you lost Rondo and Cousins was bad enough, but it's doubly bad when you lose them to other Western Conference teams, especially to lose DeMarcus Cousins to the Golden State Warriors, who have just descended to a level with 5 All-Stars and everything that they have that it's going to be difficult to topple those guys. And then Rajon Rondo, of course, he takes a deal worth $9 million to go and play with LeBron. Even though we might not have the transactions we had from day 1, day 2 is definitely a Pelican day 2. Definitely about the Pelicans. And day 2 with DeMarcus Cousins and Rajon Rondo, 2 core pieces of the team peeled away. Like I said, if we don't get one, get both, at least get one. That's not the case. We lose both guys and get replacements for those guys in the personages of Elfrid Payton. And Elfrid Payton, who's a guy who's averaged about almost 13 points a game, 6.5 assists. And then you have a guy named Julius Randle, who signs a 2-year deal worth $18 million with the second year as a player option.
Who played for the Minnesota Vikings?
No, that is not the same player. That is John Randle you're thinking about.
That is son?
So what it comes down to in the end is that the fact that the Pelicans, Julius Randle replaces DeMarcus Cousins, Elfrid Payton, I presume, replaces Rajon Rondo, and it's just amazing to me, man. A lot of people are upset by the movements in the NBA, but if you're a Pelican fan, you could definitely feel a tremendous sense of loss here.
I want to send a get well soon card to and a condolences card to all the Pelicans fans out there. I think it's very horrible that you lost 2 of the most important pieces you had in free agency. But I think it's equally horrible to know that one of them is going to the Lakers and the other one is going to the Warriors, who both have 2 of the best players in the whole NBA already on their teams. The DeMarcus Cousins deal, though, I'm going to go ahead and say it because you tiptoeing around it. I think it's a tremendously weak move. I think it's a cowardly move almost. I mean, he's going to go sit over there, try to get healthy and win a ring. I mean, it's hard for me to respect somebody just jumping on the coattail of a championship caliber team with the championship caliber talent that DeMarcus Cousins had. It just seems like a very desperate attempt to I guess, get a ring on DeMarcus Cousins' part. If it was a guy that wasn't a full-time first-team NBA player, I probably wouldn't be saying this, but the rich get richer, and the poor definitely get poorer. We're only going to have about 4 or 5 teams we're going to be watching the whole NBA season.
The old school is coming back. I think that's my little take of this whole thing. The old school is coming back, and I mean by that...
Can you name an old school team that matches or describes the Warriors? I ain't never seen nothing like that.
You kind of young, DC. You kind of young in the two, brothers. You got to go back in the days when great teams existed, like in the 50s and 60s, when you had teams that were I'm talking not guys winning a few handfuls of trophies. I'm talking about guys that won 11 trophies, that won 11 championships.
You gonna tell me about the Boston Celtics?
I'll tell you about the Boston Celtics because such things exist at one period of time. Now, free agency is a whole nother different animal. When you deal with the current style NBA, a lot of people got that old nostalgic view. Like Bird said, I would never join Magic because my mentality was to beat Magic for the trophy. These players don't think like that nowadays. So a lot of people got to understand that. And that's a part of the matrix. DeMarcus Cousins, I agree with you, it was a weak move in his part to do that because the Pelicans was offering him more money to stay here. But in the long result,
not even just the Pelicans. I mean, you can go to Boston, you can go to a bunch of other teams
be that as it may, DeMarcus Cousins is still not totally healthy. He's going to go to Golden State. Like, he's going to get healthy. And when the time comes, he's probably going to end up winning a championship ring for $5.3 million. Then comes back on the other end of the 2019 free agency and get top value and get the 100 plus 50, 40 million contract that he sought this year around. So in the end, it's a weak move, and he'll be criticized just like KD was criticized. But people not criticizing KD now. I think he's gonna get
criticized worse than KD, man.
He probably will, but in the end, like I said, they can criticize him all they want. They can criticize him all they want, but in the end, KD has 2 back-to-back titles and 2 back-to-back MVP awards. So all that criticism, shut the hell up. It's all about winning. And these guys, if that's they feel what they got to do to win,
still going on, man.
Well, that's those people. They can criticize all they want.
Why do you think KD's coming out in the public and saying that he feels unfulfilled by his 2 championships? All
I can say is at the end of the day, is that these players are going to do what they feel is right for them. And they know by winning championships, it's going to add to it. There's no asterisk that's going to be placed besides their championship titles. So, I mean, most fans don't want it because they want to be competitive. But let's be real, fans out there, that you knew that there were only going to be 5 to 6 teams that's going to win championships. And that's why I said this is going back to the old school, which is the old school teams that won championships repetitively were the New York Knicks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers, and then you might throw a fringe team in there like Golden State, because Golden State won titles back in the day as well. So in the end, you'll have a handful of teams, 5 or 6 teams that's going to jostle, and throw Houston in there as well. That's going to jostle for the control. But I've always said this, and most fans know, if you really are a true fan and you're a realist, then you'll know that you will never ever see a championship, an NBA championship with the Utah Jazz against the Toronto Raptors. You won't ever see that NBA Finals match like that. The NBA would never allow that to happen. So that, let's just keep it real, man. These people know. So if you're not in those top teams that I named, chances are you're gonna have to do some fantastic stuff to do it. Now, I'm not gonna hog all the time, DC, but I just want to add this caveat about Dale Demps. I'm terribly disappointed in the fact that Dale Demps didn't get one of these guys. Now, DeMarcus Cousins obviously had his own agenda. He wanted the max, or he was gonna do what he was gonna do. That's fine. But Rondo was totally something that you could have controlled. If you knew you wasn't gonna get DeMarcus, maybe you could have ponied up a little extra money to get Rajon Rondo to come back to the Pelicans, even if you had to get rid of a player like, say, Solomon Hill or Alexis Jenkins. Trade those guys out stretch, whatever you got to do to clear that extra cap money, even if you had to pay a little bit of the luxury, which Miss Gail Benson said, do what you got to do to win. So she she took the reins off. This is not Tom Benson's team anymore. This is Gail Benson, and Gail Benson gave you the permission to do it. So don't worry about being caught in the luxury and all this kind of nonsense. Keep your team together the best way you can. And I'm just kind of, as a Pelican fan, I'm disappointed in Dale Demps. I'm just going to be honest with you. We got the crystal ball, but never did I look that deep into the crystal ball and see that the Pelicans would lose both of their key free agents. I just didn't see that.
Well, I agree, but I believe at this point, with DeMarcus Cousins joining the Warriors, I mean, what would the Rondo signing have really done? We would have been right back competing to do what we did last year. Our championship talks have been stalled. But
you still would have been a level. You're still a level better than what you are now.
You definitely would be a level better than what you are now. You probably would still be able to have Julius Randle as well.
That's right.
They signed. Where does
that by the way?
Yeah, she did. Where does that put? I mean, most teams, man. It's like everybody who's fighting to get better. You can look at Dallas making these signings, and everybody's just muddling around. It's going to be a 3 or 4 team race for the whole year. I think most people look at this as bad because it's no excitement. It's no it's not no spontaneousness. You pretty much know what the Western Conference Finals is going to be. You can pretty much lay out
Boston and Golden State.
The West. The finals probably going to be Boston and Golden State. Or you could say Philly. I mean, it's worth watching to see that. Maybe Philly got a lot of empty spots over there, man. There's still a bunch of players available where they can improve their team dramatically by adding some pieces. Or maybe they work out a Kawhi Leonard trade because it's obvious that the Lakers are probably not going to do it. Or maybe the Lakers are on the phone right now making sure they do it. After seeing what DeMarcus Cousins did. It was the most dynamic offseason I think I've seen in a long time yesterday, but today with what DeMarcus Cousins did, I think it's probably the most memorable offseason in NBA history. We're going to be talking about this for the next 20 to 30 years, man. This is a monumental moment, and maybe this is a turning point for the NBA. New rules, new sanctions, new agreements, new contracts, and structures and stuff they try to draw up to prevent something like this from happening ever again. Any NBA players listening to our show, step y'all game up, man. Don't give up and just get the Warriors this title. I want to see some challenges. I don't want to see the Warriors walk and be 80-2. That would really suck.
Well, I mean, first of all, I definitely wholeheartedly agree with your sentiment. Because we do have NBA guys listen to the podcast and follow the show, as well as league people as well. So in the end, I don't know if there's anything the league could do contractually, rule-wise, to stop players short of putting mind control chips in players to force them to not go nowhere. I mean,
it's not like an idea.
So the whole thing is with the DeMarcus Cousins thing is that, like I said, he knew he was going to get a ring if he goes there. He'd be a key contributor once he's healthy to help them, the Golden State Warriors, repeat or build that dynasty. But who knows what happened? It's not written in stone that they'll actually get it this year. There's a lot of other teams out there. There's a lot of things that can happen in between. So don't automatically just get those guys a ring. They still have an 82-game season plus preseason and postseason that these teams got to go through to earn that championship medal at the end of the day. So, and to all the Pelican fandom out there, man, I'm just, like I said, don't jump off any bridges. Don't go and hurt anybody that makes decisions or whatever about the Pelicans. Just understand.
Become Saints fan.
I think a lot of stuff that's going on with Dale Demps, I don't like these two moves, the ineffectiveness. The Alfred Payton move I like the fact that they brought Alfred Payton, who's a hometown kid, back. I know they're supposed to have talked to Greg Monroe today. There's interest in Trevor Booker. There's interest in Tyreek Evans. There's interest in a few other players that they're still talking to. Right, so the Pelicans are still in the mood to try to make some arrangements and make this team still competitive. And remember, of course, there was the rumored trade out there about sending Solomon Hill and Alexis Jenka to Atlanta for Kent Bazemore. So the Pelicans still have some flexibility here to be able to build to make this team content. I'm not going to write the Pelicans.
Well, it's almost like competing for a participation award at this point. Prior to the DeMarcus Cousins signing, if he would have came back, we would have kept Rondo, pairing them with Nikolai Mirotic. You're looking at a shot at winning the title. You have championship contention. Get your team into championship contention. Do you think it's still a smart idea to trade away a first-round draft pick for Solomon Hill and Alexis Jinka? Now, if you could trade Solomon Hill and Alexis Jinka for Clint Bazemore, maybe you do that if you can work that under your numbers. But you got to give it. You still think that's a good idea?
I think it's still. I still think they need more. If you look at, they're a weaker team than what they were last year. Anytime you lose a guy like Rajon Rondo, who was as impactful, the leader, he just made everything go. He was that guy. And then you have a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, who's the best center in the league. You lose DeMarcus, you lose Rajon Rondo to West team competitors. Then you bring only guys like Elfrid Payton and Julian Randle. You are a weaker team than what you were last year. So the Pelicans still have to make some moves to kind of. I don't know if you won't be able to find a guy as good as DeMarcus, but they need to find some shooters to place with Drew Holiday and the rest of those guys to make it go. They can become a better three-point shooting team. That'll help Anthony Davis. I'm happy by the fact that Anthony Davis doesn't have to play the center position anymore. Basically, what Dale Demps did was he got Julius Randle, and you basically is going to run a small ball rotation all the time.
I can tell you this: they're going to put their best people out there, because with us having Anthony Davis and him on the brink of locking up a major contract, they want to compete. We don't want to tank. So they're going to put the best guys out there, man. Free agency.
There's still a lot they can do. There's still a lot can do. Like I said, they got exemptions. They got trades that they can make. There's still a lot of stuff that this team could do. And this guy, he didn't get the name Dale for nothing. So at the end of the day, the Pelicans still have a lot of stuff that they can do to improve upon this team. So I'm not going to go out and laying out lineups and all this kind of stuff.
Y'all, for all the Pelicans fans who sick out there, listen to Mr. Theraflu. He giving y'all some good medicine. All right, well, that's going to be the end of our show, y'all. We go ahead and wrap this up. We'll be reporting back to you with any more live news that we get starting tomorrow with our next free agency show. Hopefully the Pelicans can pull off a trade, sign somebody we wasn't thinking about. I don't know, call somebody out of retirement. Anything's possible. But this is DC with Big Q signing off for the Sports Coma Rapid Fire segment for free agency. Peace.
Peace.
What up, sports world? It's Big Q from the Sports Coma, representing the PRO Media Network, letting you know that the PRO Media Network is in a push now on a mission to gain 10,000 subs. That's right, 10K on the subs. And to help promote to get 10,000, the PRO Media Network is not only going to be doing the shows that you love so much about the Saints, the Pelicans, or LSU, but also it'll expand out the biggest stories about the NFL, the NBA, and even include new content dealing with anime, gaming, and even movie reviews in an attempt to expand out its platform. So if you're a fan of the PRO Media Network, the Sports Coma, or the Pelican Post Game Report, and other podcasts made by the PRO Media Network, please join us in our efforts in our mission to get 10,000 subs. Share us with fans, share us with friends, share us with family members, and help the PRO Media Network gain 10,000 subs. Peace.